I have never read a Stephen King book before, and for some reason, I thought it'd be a great idea to start with one of his biggest books. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Today, we are tackling one of the biggest books I've ever read, and that's The Stand by Stephen King. I have never read any Stephen King book before. The closest I have gotten is watching It, the movie, way back in the day when I was younger and being completely creeped out by it. I know he was known for most of his horror books, and I believe this is mostly a dystopian, which is right up my alley. Just look at that cover. There's a man standing on a big skull. Big ass skull. Do I even want to know what that is? What is that, a giant? I don't know. I will say I am feeling a little intimidated. It is a thick book, but I've heard amazing things about it, and every single review has made me want to read this book. And even though I am intimidated, I'm expecting this to be epic. I have very, very high expectations going into this book, so I hope they are not disappointed. If you have not read The Stand yet and you have no idea what it's about, let's just read the back of the book together. It's not that long. A patient escapes from a biological testing facility, unknowingly carrying a mutated strain of superflu that wipes out 99% of the world's population within a few weeks. Those who remain are scared, bewildered, and in need of a leader. Two emerge. Mother Abigail, a benevolent 108-year-old woman who urges the building of a peaceful community in Boulder, Colorado. And Randall Flagg, the nefarious, dark man who delights in chaos and violence. As the two leaders gather power, the survivors must choose between them and ultimately decide the fate of humanity. I am going to make a prediction right here. Don't judge me on it. If I was part of the 1% of the world who had survived, who would I choose? The 108-year-old woman who urges peaceful community, who is, I don't know, I guess part of some church because she's called Mother Abigail. So I don't, that's just what that seems to me. Oh, it doesn't say that though. It doesn't say she's part of a church. I don't know why I assume that. Anyways, would I choose Mother Abigail? Maybe she's just called Mother Abigail. Or would I choose Randall Flagg, the dark man who delights in chaos and violence? I'm choosing Randall Flagg. That's just what my gut tells me. I know absolutely nothing about this book besides what I've read on the back. So that's my prediction right here. We're going with Randall Flagg for, I don't even know what I'm predicting. The community that I think is going to be better, I guess. I don't know. I could be horribly wrong. So strap on in because I'm taking you with me on this epic journey through my first Stephen King book, The Stand. Oh my God. There's a guy that's working in this facility and he runs home and he's waking his wife up. And she's like, what the heck's wrong right now? He's coughing up a storm. And he goes and says that he noticed a red light at work and that something malfunctioned and it should have shut everybody in, but it didn't shut him in. And he got out of the door. And 30 seconds after he got out of this door, it shut. So he should have been trapped down there. And everybody else that was down there is dead. He's saying, we gotta go. We gotta get out of here. Get the baby. Get your stuff. Something bad happened. And we gotta go. Meanwhile, he's coughing constantly. So he's patient zero, isn't he? He's the reason whatever got out, because he was supposed to be locked down in there. Which means what? His wife and baby died? That sucks. They found a dead man. Well, he wasn't dead. But the people in his car were dead. And you know what those people were? They were unrecognizable. And it was a female and a kid. Ding, ding, ding. Sound like something? It's patient zero. I knew it. And now all these people in this small town have been exposed and they're bringing him to the hospital. Like, what a nightmare. I'm sorry, but if you pull up to me in a car and your car smells like death, and the people in your passenger seat are unrecognizable because they're so bloated and there's like things popping out. I ain't going nowhere near you. I will call 911. I will call for help. I'm staying way the heck over there. I've watched too many zombie apocalypse movies to get anywhere near you. Because in my mind, it's probably not the plague, but it's the zombie apocalypse and you're going to try to eat me. I'm icked out. The way that he describes this stuff is disgusting. And I love it, but it's disgusting. People are starting to get sick and they're not putting two and two together. The same people that were there by that car. And they're just thinking like, darn, what a bad time to get a cold. They got kids. Ugh. Yesterday, I updated you a little bit on where I was with this stand. I don't even know if I'm going to keep that in the vlog. Sometimes my brain is very chaotic. And the things that I say kind of tend to ramble or my thoughts aren't completely straight. It's like my very ADHD brain is just all over the place and it's kind of spouting nonsense. But like it doesn't sound like nonsense in my brain. It only sounds like nonsense when I re-listen to it after I've recorded it. So I don't know if I'm keeping that in. I guess if you're listening to this, I didn't keep that in. Here's where I am with the stand. I'm currently about 260, 270 pages in. So we're almost a quarter of the way through. Everything up until this point, and we're still going through it, has been us watching society slowly break down. It was really cool at the beginning because you're watching how this super flu spread and they're being very detailed about how that goes. They're letting us know that this person we were just introduced to went to this event and now they've infected these people who've infected these people. And it's like a pyramid scheme, but one that actually works is how they describe it. So basically this super flu gets accidentally released from a government building and it spreads fast, like crazy fast. You don't even need to necessarily be in physical contact with the person for it to spread to you. It's like spreads through the air. You just have to be in the vicinity of them. And pretty much all of the population is getting wiped out. The government is trying to cover it up. They're taking over news stations. They're putting out stuff that they want the people to hear, but they're straight up lying. And I don't know. I can't confirm it because sometimes the writing confuses me a little bit. I feel like one of the military people said to spread it to the other countries so that it didn't look like it came from America. I could be wrong about that, but that's how I comprehended what I read there. So now it's going all over the world. It's not just the US. So now that everyone's dying, the government cover up did not work. Everyone's dead. And we have these couple of survivors that are trying to figure out, what do I do next? And I think the most confusing part was that we were introduced to so many people and a lot of those people died. So I was like getting a little confused with who my main characters were going to be because I love that you told me about these people, but now everything I just learned is gone. Like their whole story done, snuffed out. So the different people that I know are alive so far, as with my normal reading vlogs, I'm not going to spoil big main plot points, but there might be like little spoilers in who I talk about that's currently alive or currently not alive. So if you haven't read it and you don't want to know, don't listen. But currently, we have Stu Redman, who is this quiet guy from a small town in Texas. He's been with us since the beginning. He is currently being held, as far as I know, in this government facility, and he's contemplating seeing if he can escape. He has been immune to this thing from the beginning. They've run tests. They've injected him with the virus, which is actually quite rude. They didn't even tell him they were injecting him. They didn't get his permission to do that. They just were experimenting in the hopes of saving the world, but that's still like violation there. So we have him. We have Franny, who is a pregnant college student who is alone in her town except for her friend's brother is still alive. And he kind of seems scummy. I don't know if he will be scummy, but she doesn't think too highly of him, at least at this point in time. We have Larry Underwood, who is, I believe he's a rapper. He was like just getting big as this whole epidemic started, and he was having some rough times before. He was like constantly getting into some type of trouble with either drugs or alcohol or stuff like that. And then my favorite person so far is Nick. Nick Andros is deaf and mute. He's pretty young. I want to say he's like 22-ish. And at the beginning of the book, he has quite the run-in with these bullies. But he is just so sweet and so caring. And so far, he is my absolute favorite character of this book. And they do mention these dreams that I don't remember if everyone's having these dreams, but I know Nick is definitely having them. Nick is having sometimes these good dreams, sometimes these bad dreams, and I don't know exactly if they mean anything or if there's something that's just happening to him. I will say I met Randall Flagg, and I don't like him very much. Turns out he is not just a bad guy. He doesn't just like steal and like rob and stuff like that. The same thing, I guess. He's done some pretty bad things. He's killed tons of people. He has done horrible things to women. So, while I would love a redemption story for Mr. Randall Flagg here, I did predict that was the camp I wanted to be in, and now I kind of want to retract that. I kind of want to take a step back because I'm not liking the person Randall Flagg is. But I also don't want to jump in the other bandwagon of Mother Abigail. I haven't met her yet. I just don't know. Sometimes you get these religious areas of stories and it becomes this good versus evil thing where religion is very positive. And then you get these other stories where religion is not positive and it's used to get ahead and all this. So I don't know how. And you know what's funny? I don't know why I keep relating Mother Abigail to religion. I don't know if it is religion. That's the crazy part. In my brain it is, but I actually don't know if there's any religious connotation to it. I just get that vibe and I don't know why. So I could be even completely wrong here, going off on a rant that makes zero sense whatsoever. There goes my brain again. So that's kind of where my thoughts are. 300 pages in. Very interested in where this is going. Very interested to see all of these characters develop. A lot of them are very immature right now, but that's to be expected because they're pretty young for the most part. So I'm really interested to see what type of growth we're going to get. Also, completely random, I'm going to be listening to the audiobook for a bit. I've decided I'm going to make bread. I have been looking at the ingredients that are in some things that I buy. And for instance, like I was looking at my bagels and I'm like, what the heck is in these? What makes them so heavy? Long story short, I was watching Instagram and there was this guy that moved here from Europe and he's like, the bread here is completely different when you purchase it in a store versus the bread in Europe, and that he feels heavier and that he gains weight because of it, whereas he's eating the same exact thing. It's just American bread versus European bread. So I was like, you know what? I want to start making some of my own stuff and see if there's a difference in how I feel versus purchasing stuff in a store. So I made my own bagels. Those turned out freaking awesome. Absolutely love them. There are only 3 ingredients in them and I love it. They actually taste like real bread versus like, I don't know. There's like a taste to real bread. You know what I mean? There's like a texture for homemade stuff. So I'm loving those. Those are great. And I've decided I wanted to try to make focaccia bread. They say it's the easiest bread for a beginner to make, so my dough has been rising and now it's time to make it. So I'm going to listen to the audiobook while I attempt to follow these directions to make my focaccia bread. no. Randall Flagg is the weird religious zealot. I pegged that so wrong. Mother Abigail's this sweet little old lady that is like religious but in the good way. Ugh. End of the world happens. Don't let me pick the community we're going to. Flagg is just like a straight up demon. What? And like, what are these dreams? So it is like a massive good versus evil type of story. Very Lord of the Rings-ish. Like, you know what I mean? Not like it, but He's like, and he has the red eyes. He's like the red eye of Sauron. Oh my gosh. I pegged that so wrong. I've been listening to the audio and I'm actually enjoying the audio all of a sudden because I wasn't at first. At first, I felt like whoever the narrator was kind of talking like one of those investigative shows, true crime type of podcasts where he's just kind of stating the facts of what's happening. But now, as we're getting more into the characters and we're seeing the characters' personalities come out, I'm enjoying it way more. So I've been mostly doing the audio. I'm about 400 pages in now. That's getting good. And it looks like our boy Nick is heading to Nebraska, maybe. These people are traveling some distances, man. I've got some good news and some bad news. Good news, I officially finished The Stand. Bad news, it's because I DNF'd it. So technically, I just about finished it. I made it to page 703 before I officially decided that it just wasn't for me. I was having such a good time at the beginning of it. I was intrigued with the world building, the virus outbreak. It was just very atmospheric and sucked me right into this world. But as I kept going and I was getting all these POVs of people that were just kicking it left and right, I wasn't connecting to our main characters as much as I thought I was going to be by this point in the book. And a lot of those other perspectives just started blurring together to me. So when someone was ending up being important, I could not remember for the life of me who they were or where I last saw their name. Besides like the main 3 or 4 people. And I believe Trash Can Man is the one that got the extended POVs in the uncut edition of The Stand, which is the version that I'm reading. And let me just say that is the worst point of view to be in. Oh my gosh, I cannot stand Trash Can Man or anything he was doing. And being in his point of view for like chapters is probably what really just sealed the deal for me. And I think that's really where it started to drag. And I would put the book down. I'd try to pick it up. I would listen to the audio, but I really wasn't comprehending the audio even at that point. It was just kind of going on in the background, and I realized I'm just using it for like extra noise in the room. I'm not even comprehending what's going on in the book. And I'm going to be completely honest. The religious themes are a big part of what also killed it for me, because around that 700-page mark is really where you're getting the bad people POVs and the Trash Can Man, and we're getting back into that compound in Vegas and Randall Flagg's people. And you started seeing a little bit more with Mother Abigail, but you start seeing it in general that this is like, doesn't just have like religious connotations to it with the good and evil. It's like pretty heavy with the religion. And I don't mind little bits of a religion. I just don't like the specific religious things that were going on in this book. Like, for example, I am totally cool with there being a scientific reason to why the virus affected dogs, but not wolves, right? They mentioned something like how it was man and man's best friends that the virus affected, but that the wolves are out there doing like Satan's work type of thing. But there's no like scientific reason behind that, and that just doesn't make sense to me. Because if dogs get it, wolves are going to get it. Humans got it. They showed a scene at the zoo showing that monkeys got it, and monkeys are very like similar to us. So why would wolves not get it? But the dogs do. I don't know. I know my brain is kind of like rambling. It's just something that really stuck out to me that really agitated me because it scientifically makes zero sense. And it was like just surrounded with this religious connotation by it. And I guess my brain just doesn't function in that way. And like either everything is going to be left up to higher powers dictating things, or like nothing should. I don't know. I just don't like the pick and choose, I guess. I don't know. Either way, I feel accomplished. I'm happy that I read it, even if it wasn't for me, because it really did expose me to something new. And this was my first Stephen King book. I probably shouldn't have started with one of the longest books that he has. And with all that being said, I do see why people would love this book. It really did have some pretty incredible moments early on. It really did suck me in. I think I was just expecting a very dystopian world with lots of action. And this was a very character-driven dystopian world with religion. So it's a very different dystopian world than I've ever read, and I went into it with different expectations. So if you've never read a Stephen King book, I don't recommend this being the first one. Because it is quite the big book. However, I will be trying another Stephen King book because I don't think I can justify whether I like or dislike his books based on The Stand. I will be reading later this month Pet Sematary because when I Googled it, it is supposedly his scariest book or most horrifying book that he's written. And I want to give horror a try. I haven't really read horror, like keep me up at night type of horror. So I will be giving Stephen King another try later this month. And moral of the story here, sometimes DNFing a book isn't a failure and has nothing to do with the author or the reader. Sometimes it's literally just that story is not right for you at this exact moment. And maybe later on in life it'll be right for me, maybe not. I don't know. I will say, I looked up The Stand. There's like that 4-part series on, I don't know if it was Prime Video or Paramount. So I tried to watch that, and I don't know. I don't know why it has such high ratings. Maybe I'm being too critical, but when you cast someone for a role, right? Shouldn't they resemble what they're supposed to resemble in the book? I know there's a bunch of different versions. I don't remember what version it was. Maybe the 1994. Does that sound right? And it started with Franny in the garden digging her father's grave and Harold peeping through the fence at her. And I don't remember that ever happening. Harold drove up while she was digging her father's grave. Oh, no. I'm wrong. It wasn't while she was digging a grave. She was just helping her father. I'm wrong there. But I don't remember Harold ever peeping at her through a fence. As well as Harold in the book is a very overweight young man who's about 17 years old, and he's extremely bright, has a lot of different facts about a lot of interesting, important things. This Harold was like very skinny and fit. So automatically, like I'm like, that's not Harold. He doesn't look the way he's supposed to, and he isn't acting the way I think he should be acting based on what I read in the book. So I didn't really watch any more of it than that. If anyone knows of a better version of The Stand I should watch that's like portrays them the way they should be, I think I would definitely be down to watch it. I am curious if anyone else had felt this way about any of The Stand or the movies, or it's not a movie, TV shows. Let me know in the comments what you thought. And if there is another book you think I should read besides Pet Sematary that you think I would like from Stephen King, let me know. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Like I said, even though this was a DNF, this was a great experience for me. And I'm really glad I read the book. If you are new, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. I hope y'all have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video.